a fight about the team. If it comes, I'ma die with it. Casualties, casually to any adversaries. If it's necessary, I'ma go and come and ride with it. Let me welcome you to my legion. If you mess with us, we gon' put you on a t-shirt. Never take a day off, what's a leisure? Squad's always up, this teamwork, stream work. चलो फिर आ जाओ सारे, एक एक मारे फिर एक और एक गारे. सारे मेरे बंटर बावे, रेगिस्तान में भी हम नदियां बहा दे. चलो साले दे मत बहाने, वाला टना मत जब हम आ जाए सामने. और करे तेरे बारे, मेरे मेरी टीम मेरे पीछे क्या करेगा तू चाबे. I said I got your back, 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 back. I said I got your back, 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 back. I said I got your back in my team, we adapt. We a family from around the world, we are back. You can never take us down, and that's a fact. All we do is improvise and adapt. I said I got your back. 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 And I said I got your back. 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 And I said I got your back. I said I got your back. I said I got your back. And I said I got your back. I said I got your back. I said I got your back. हम खड़े फिर यहीं, ऊपर आसमान नीचे जमीन. पूरा है अब हमें यकीन. बढ़ते रहना आगे और चढ़ते रहना ऊपर. साथ मेहनत है और हमारा जमीन. खुशी हो या गमी, जीत की तरफ है बढ़ते जाना, लड़ते जाना, कभी माननी है हार नहीं. We work hard and we play hard. चाहे जितना भी दिखे हम गंभीर, चलो करें मजे. I said I got your back in my team, we adapt. We a family from around the world, we are back. You can never take us down, and that's a fact. All we do is improvise and adapt. I said I got your back. And I said I got your back. And I said I got your back. All we do is improvise and adapt.
Would you look at the time, everyone? It is time for quarterfinals. My name is Shiv, hopefully to be joined by Mr. Edward Prone at some point during today's programming. But our first quarterfinal going to be between 4Capybara, 1Hyrax, and the LilMacAttackers. We are already underway in draft, and already some standard things that we're seeing. 4Capybara banning out 3 champions that they do not want to let get into Capalot's hands, and then first picking the 4th champ they would not want him to play with that Lee Sin. Opens up the immediate Ashe Seraphine combo for the LilMacAttackers. And 4Capybara going to respond with the Ziggs Nautilus. So we'll see if Unicorn Potato can make plays on the map, while the Ziggs just tries to absorb waves and deal with what is otherwise a rough laning phase for anyone who's not a mage. Yeah, we have not seen mage bots from either of these bot lanes thus far. Ziggs will be the first one so far for Hyrax. And Lee Sin is going to be the play from Capalot, so not going to be an interesting AP jungler that he's been playing a lot of. Will be his first time on the Vi. And really, his first time kind of being on a primary engage champion. Is still very much a fighter with mobility like the Lee Sin, but tends to have some different responsibilities in the actual team fight. As we go into our second round of bans, the Galio banned away. A lot of teams do like to get that Gargoyle in the mid lane when they have the Ziggs. That already brings good AP damage. And just trying to declaw the possible engage that can be coming their way with the Lee Sin, the Nautilus, and the Ziggs bomb over the top. Meanwhile, 4Capybara are going to thin the pool a bit for Burrito Bear, who has been mostly on, those more supportive mages, kind of like the Galio and the Victor, as Azir also joining the ban table as the commish, kind of the only one still playing the Sandbird after he has been hit with wave after wave of nerf and other champions getting buff. We'll see what the blind is from LilMacAttackers. They elect to blind the mid lane Malzahar here. So Malzahar, Vi obviously providing with very good single target lockdown. In some of these drawn out fights, the Malzahar damage can actually get pretty high with constant E refreshes and void grubs going all over the place. So, and like Qs just to buy space and everything. It does mean they're very low on damage with kind of a utility AD carry and a utility mage. 4Capybara going to respond with that Talia that can pair nicely with Lee Sin. No instant, easy to proc CC from either of the two, but does give them some good playmaking in the mid game when Talia gets her ult and Lee Sin is looking to make those early plays. We'll see what the blind pick here is for Z. And it is going to be the Aatrox. So a relatively standard comp from the side of 4Capybara. We'll see what the answer into the Aatrox is. Camper on duty, I expect, honestly, to just... I feel like a Gragas, kind of his pocket pick that he's liked over the years, is kind of solid into Aatrox. Provides good disengage, which you kind of like with Ashe Seraphine, but, I mean, not really with the Vi. So, we'll see how far down his list Mr. Camper wants to go, and it is going to be the Urgot locked in for the top lane. Aatrox Urgot was the tried and true matchup of Season 8. They duke it out in the mid, they duke it out in the top. Been a while since we've really seen it. Is going to be slightly Urgot favored, and then as Urgot gets up in levels, gets to put some more points into his W, he gets to be feeling pretty all right, but I am a bit concerned of how either of these top laners are supposed to play any sort of team fights, right? Aatrox is trying to deal with Malzahar, Seraphine, and Ashe kiting away from him. Urgot's got to deal with Ziggs Satchel, Nautilus Disruption, and the Unraveled Earth of Talia. Both comps with a lot of solid disengage options where first person to pull the trigger, whether that's the Nautilus or the Vi, may not get exactly what they want on their way through. Looks like we may have had some issues with connecting everyone in. So I think right now, I'm personally biased towards LilMacAttackers because I feel like if you don't have something really spicy up into the Ashe Seraphine, it just doesn't matter how the game goes. They can be down 5k gold and still contribute more than several other duos and still drag their team to victory with all the utility they provide. The one thing I'm a bit off on in the LilMac comp is going to be this Vi. It feels like their comp was very good at kiting back, and they wanted something to help like actually make plays, but it just ends up, I think, with the Vi being maybe a bit stranded. They can certainly follow up on top of a Vi engage with the Encore, with the Ashe ult. It feels like those are tools they would much rather use on the back foot than for the front foot. Meanwhile, on the side of 4Capybara, I definitely got my eyes on the Ziggs to see how they're going to deal with this Ashe Seraphine lane, and with it being 1Hyrax's first game on the Ziggs thus far. We have seen 1Hyrax play some mages here and there throughout DMV, but not so far this split. And I mean, the Nautilus ult is really the only thing Ziggs has where people will get locked up for him to sweet spot someone with the Mega Inferno Bomb. If he doesn't sweet spot anyone and he just gets good splash damage, that'll just get healed up by the Seraphine double W. Yeah. We'll see how the Ziggs can really provide good damage in these fights, as it looks like we've got everyone just about accounted for. A quick update, as it looks like Curse of Dragons has DC'd. You hate to see it. Hopefully does not take eons of fixing that. And so we wait, as it looked like Unicorn Potato was able to reconnect. We'll see what they can really... Hopefully they can get into game sooner rather than later, of course. And should be about good. Beautiful. All right, welcome, folks. Our first quarterfinals is underway. LilMacAttackers chose 4Capybara, 1Hyrax as their first round opponent, looking to strike the dagger through the commish and end his 4-peat here, or attempt at one rather. As immediate hook, just fighting over vision on the bot side. Definitely a lot of interesting things to keep in mind for this one. 4Capybara, 1Hyrax started this split pretty rough. They were not looking all too great, as another nice hook from Unicorn Potato gets cursed very low. Ignite had to be used, but now Unicorn Potato has to flash as he's getting pelted by those Ash arrows. So both supports very low. Envy will be the one pathing towards the bot side, whereas Capalot on the Vi pathing up top towards his aggressive Ignite optioned Urgot. But okay, the double high note, as the camera doesn't decide what to do, gets first blood. Just like we drew it up, of course, as the Ash Seraphine, you know, the side of 4Capybara, 1Hyrax, they wanted to go 3 jungle bans into first pick jungle to deny as much as they could from Capalot. That opens up the all-powerful Ash Seraphine. The answer from the Ziggs, it may work at some point, but it is not looking good right now with the Nautilus as they give over first blood. Curse going to use that time to poke her head around, the mid lane, perhaps, as Hoptek's going to be the target. Going to use the Unrouter. Doesn't find the shove, but the spells should just be not enough damage. Hoptek able to get away from that one. Now Curse tagged by the Sonic Wave, has to flash away, as Envy was there for a counterpunch. Goes down to half HP. So go back to continuous clear. Another shove from Hoptek. Burrito Bear very low, has to flash. So the attempted play from Curse, not quite panning out. They lose 2 flashes for nothing, really, at the end of the day. Hoptek going to force the TP out from Burrito as well. Will just be full clears into their individual crabs. Envy happy that despite losing bot lane, that he is able to still get this bot crab with no shenanigans. Yeah, certainly now with the no flashes on the Seraphine, no flash on the Malzahar. Curious to see how Envy wants to maybe try to affect this game. We have Capelot actually going for a deep invade. They do have an idea of where this Lee Sin is, but I don't think Cap's going to affect it. No, he's going to Q over. Is able to stop it with a punch, but not going to be able to get too much. 1Hyrax is teleporting back on the Zig, so I was like, maybe if the Vault Breaker connects and Curses there, they can make something happen, but just going to kind of delay both junglers in getting back to their second clear. And now you can see the pings from Envy wanting to fight over that respawn Raptors on the red side, because now Vi hasn't based. So either Capelot needs to clear up 2 camps and base himself, or is going to go to that Raptors on a disadvantage, and disadvantage in the mid lane as Burrito Bear is getting pushed in. Down a couple CS as well, and he's down some items as well. So we'll see if that Raptor spawn is going to be the main point of contention here. Envy is going to cross for it. And yeah, both junglers are going to meet here. Burrito Bear does not have his ult up and available. So it is just going to be a scuffle over the Raptors. Hoptek trying to work his way over to help out his jungler. But Camper finds a fling, takes the tower shot. As this Aatrox getting very low, he's ignited on down. Meanwhile, in the mid jungle 2v2, it's Capelot going down super low. It's a solo kill for Camper in the meantime, as the silence means Envy can't finish off the kill, but the Vault Breaker can't get the shield up for Capelot. Now Burrito Bear's in trouble. He's out of mana, and Hoptek's just getting through his grubs. The solo lanes, or the side lanes rather, may not be going fantastic for the Capybaras, but it is their mid jungle getting the advantage. Yeah, I mean, it's very nicely done by Envy to know that that fight cannot in any world be losing because of what the Vi did trying to get cute around that Krug spawn. She was either going to get there weak off a base after the Krugs and would be kind of doomed if she didn't get the Raptors. As nice little hook, but into the immediate stuns as now Unicorn Potato gets some space with the satchel, but still has to flash away. The Hawkshot providing some vision as 1Hyrax has no mana, and that'll be another kill over to the Seraphine. It might be World War III around this bot crab, but with that kill bot side, I don't think Envy wants to mess with it. And the possibility of Curse influencing that fight. But even still, you know, despite the kills looking good in the sides for the side of the LilMacAttackers, you know, Aatrox is up in CS in his matchup considerably. Ziggs is up a considerable amount of CS, so does mean that they're not hurting too bad in these lanes. Is going to be a dragon over for 4Capylot and the MacAttackers. Camper actually able to throw out the Fear Beyond Death, getting Z very low, but not low enough against the World Ender. So Z's able to fight him off. Heals up enough, gets enough damage through, but the Urgot is not going to find those chains. we do now have level 6 up for the Ashe and the Vi, mostly giving them great lockdown potential that Unicorn Potato has to be very conscious of as a flashless Nautilus here on the map. There's going to be a Hex Slash Roar from Unicorn Potato. They're trying to loop this Vi in around. Arrow's going to connect onto 1Hyrax, who's down so low. And so is LilMac, though, as he tanks the entire Nautilus combo. But there's no Ziggs to help out. So that's another kill to the bot lane. Finally, it's going to be the Ashe, the recipient of one of those kills. But meanwhile, the cross map means that there's a play on the top side. Envy and Hoptech setting that up nicely to kill off Camper. And Camper without TP is going to lose. A cannon is going to have some difficulty crab walking his way back to this wave. Is he not going to like fully commit, even though his jungler's on this side and they're kind of just trading out on sides of the map. But this Urgot counter that Camper was confident in didn't look particularly good aside from the solo kill. Now down about 30 CS, losing some plates. And meanwhile, oh dear, that is not the way we need that anchor to go. As now Capalot is around, they have encircled the Nautilus yet again. This time the dredge line's going to connect where they want it, but I mean, there's no way home here after that initial blunder. Nautilus gets sunk for the 4th time this game. And we'll see if 1Hyrax is able to stem the bleeding here with his Ziggs wave clear. No ult on the Vi, but they do have the Ashe Arrow. They're going to send it on in with the Encore. Curse going to tank 1 tower shot, but now do they have enough damage to go through with the high notes? Yes, they do. Capalot flash Volt Breakers to safety. And it's less than ideal that, you know, the Sarah Queen is picking up all these kills, but certainly do not mind putting this bot lane through the ringer. But now Envy is going to look for Burrito Bear here. Silence is used. Doesn't find the Sonic Wave. Now going to flash away. Use the Suppress, but there shouldn't be enough distance to get here for the Malzahar. Camper was in the area and is now going to try to annoy Envy over these Raptors. Gets flung back and already used the Dragon's Rage. Flash forward from Camper. Needs a bit more damage and will get it done. That is a nice bit of pocket change for the Urgot to help him through this struggling early game. And perhaps a bit of an overstep from Envy. As now Z is trying to just fight, but he has to know Capalot was on this side. I'm not entirely sure about that. Like, pretty sure Envy's corpse sees the Vi as he's getting dragged into the grinders, but yeah, less than ideal. But either way, I think when you kind of assess what's been going on so far, you've seen good action from the side of LilMacAttackers to stay active around their bot lane, continue to exploit the CC that this Ashe Seraphine has to set up plays. But it hasn't resulted in a major CS lead. Meanwhile, Z has opened up a big CS lead. The Talia's in a very good spot in her winning lane. So, Blackfire Torch already completed. Means Hoptech will have a lot of freedom to maybe influence this losing bot side with the Weaver's Wall. Especially now that there's no flash on Curse. As Unicorn's just going to flash forward. They're going to look for the Weaver's Wall down here as well. Encore, though, is going to hit 2. Hoptech's here, but Capalot's ready to counter. LilMac flashing away. Now cease and desist used. Capalot is there at the perfect time to turn the play around and keep the bot lane in the dirt for 4Capybara, 1Hyrax. Envy is here, and Curse might be playing a bit too aggressive. Those 5 kills are not going to help you against the Lee Sin. Is able to get back to safety, though. LilMac has to kite this one out. Has the Vi. Is able to get that kill. Now 1Hyrax, the last man standing in his bot lane, but it's going to be a crumbling around him. The tower is going to surely be put under fire here, so certainly been a tale of two sides, right? You have 4Capybara, 1Hyrax getting the early Ashe Seraphine and playing completely to dominate this bot lane early on. Meanwhile, Z with the Aatrox has been great. They've been moving Talia walls up there. They've been getting NV active up there, but right now it is a 3K gold lead for the side of LMA. As Hoptech is trying to duke it out, Burrito Bear does not have the ult, so he's not particularly scary. Yeah. And I mean, it's such a big punish. You know, they try to save the losing lane with the Talia wall. Capalot's there to counter, and it all just goes completely awry. Sometimes you want to kind of keep playing to the winning lanes like Z is doing up here. Finds the Q3 and the stab for a solo. Hoptech was trying to get up there, but Capalot finds him out. There's the kickback over the rocks, which means Capalot actually going to get taken out by the Lee Sin. Hoptech needs to be careful that the Malefic Visions doesn't spread to him. Should be A-okay. But yeah, despite all that's been happening bot, it looks like Z is perhaps going to be the winner in the first tower race. Will lock up a hefty amount of gold for himself. He is up 1.4K. Even more than the advantage for the Ashe, though. Calculating the Seraphine and all the kills she's been put into good use for sure. As the hook is going to come out here from Unicorn Potato, but the Encore is going to still hit the Ziggs. They send the Ashe Arrow. It is going to connect through the Flash. So a bit of split fire, but another high note sends 1Hyrax to the high heavens. And with Capalot around, Envy is not going to be able to find too much of his Krugs left. I mean, we do have a Weaver's Wall down here, as there's no ults on this bot lane. They are able to take the tower. Nice little sidestep from Curse. It's a big tool down with the Weaver's Wall, but only a 1K gold lead. Again, it's going to come down to Aatrox versus this bot lane. And I feel like this bot lane, even though 6 of the kills are on the Seraphine, more than enough between LilMac and Curse to keep this Aatrox from taking over any fight with all their utility. And now, Ashe Seraphine just get to move to the mid lane, and anyone that steps too far up gets nailed by an Ashe Arrow. Hit up with the Encore, as we see an at value sign there, but we'll see if the Ziggs can get active in any of these other lanes to maybe push and use that satchel, as Capalot, or excuse me, Envy is actually going to find the kickback onto Curse, who does use the Flash. LilMac is trying to slow up the Aatrox. Is able to get a sidestep. The chains are going to drag him back, but Capalot is here for the defense. That is going to be a kill on the Seraphine, but meanwhile, cease and desist into the bot lane. Z is in trouble. There's the grinder as Camper gets the fear, but everyone's TPing into the play. The Ashe is trying to stand still and fires. Here comes the Nether Grasp to lock up Envy, but he's able to still get away. It's a double kill for the Urgot, as now the Ashe Arrow is up and available, but it hits a field goal through 1Hyrax and Envy. All 10 players elect to party in the mid lane, as okay, a Super Mega Bomb is not going to find the angle. Flash for Flash there with the Sonic Wave. Initial play from Envy is good. I don't think Curse had an opportunity to get any ultimate off in that fight. It was not up off a cooldown. Not the best angle on the Flash, but did make draw away some pressure that you can see LilMac. He's able to just fire pretty safely throughout these fights once the Lee Sin has invested that ward hop kick. And I mean, even Camper being the beneficiary of some of those kills definitely helps slingshot him back into a reasonable spot in this game. I'm not quite sold. Now the Urgot's going to be playing this one out, but definitely fine with taking those kills. We do have 40 seconds until Mountain Dragon hits the Rift. 2 items on LilMac's Ashe, and maybe a play in mid, as 1Hyrax is able to get away with some nice satchel usage. Camper will have to base a bit early, as he does not have TP, but we'll see if that even gets exploited, as Envy is already up on the top side. It's 20 seconds till this dragon. It's going to be Herald secured by Envy and Z. They're going to take space and vision around this top side and see if they can... I mean, they'd have to call down the Aatrox to have any chance in this fight around the Dragon. Should just be a concede. Should just be Soul Point going the way of LMA. So Soul Point now definitely, or excuse me, Dragon Soul now a concern for the side of 4Capybara, 1Hyrax. And I mean, the gold is pretty dead even, but I think when you assess, like, okay, the gold is all with Ashe Seraphine on the side of LMA, and that's kind of exactly where you want it to be. Unless, no, I don't think there's a catch to be had in mid. Kind of exactly where you want the gold to be if the strong enemy champion is an Aatrox, right? Even with the Seraphine getting all this, she'll have that Rylai's making all these divers wade through slow zones of the Ashe Seraphine. Like, exactly how you would have drawn it up if you wanted a gold lead to be anywhere with this composition. We will have Herald dropped in the mid lane. We'll get a crash, and if a Zig Satchel can come through, they should be able to take that mid tower off the Rift. Capella is lurking around for any stragglers alongside Burrito Bear. Yeah, I think one of the issues that 4Capybara, or excuse me, rather, LilMacAttackers was going to have as Hoptech, oh dear, he's going to be found out. There's the suppression into the cease and desist. It's not even layered perfectly, but it still gets the job done as they find the Taliyah roaming to the side waves. And I mean, that was one of the spots it felt like maybe 4Capybara could find avenues to success, right? They have a strong Aatrox. They have a strong Taliyah with the Weaver's Wall, but because there's 3 dragons on the side of LilMacAttackers, they didn't have to be too aggressive in silence. They didn't have to go for CS, right? Burrito Bear's fine still being down a couple waves. Camper, still fine. And now he's got some alone time in top, but he might be punished for it as Z has looped around in behind him. Not going to find the chains. The Inferno Bomb isn't going to do all too much. Envy and Hyrax now joining the play. This is for sure a dead Urgot. He will buy some time as Envy claims the shutdown. First is going to get hit by a Sonic Wave, but with Capelot nearby, Envy would be wise not to take that. We will see some advantage from the side lane here as Hoptech will be very close to taking out this tower, and as Unicorn around if the Malzahar gets a bit too close, but I mean, with the Void Grubs to block a Nautilus hook, Burrito Bear shouldn't feel too unsafe, even with his Void Shift shield. Does have Capelot behind him as well, so it is still a tower. It is still good gold over to the Taliyah. Who's going to see... I mean, I think, like, the major concern for the side of 4Capybara is, like, is this Ashe going to get up to 3 items before this big dragon fight? Because they're not really able to pressure the Seraphine Ashe to force any summoners. And so, LilMac has Flash, Curse has Flash, Burrito has Flash. You go in for a Lee Sin play, and it may just completely whiff. We will have Weaver's Wall up to top lane as they continue to try to put Camper on duty through the ringer. Hoptech visiting his old teammate to put him in the dirt here, as Camper's going to buy as much time as he can. Actually getting a lot of damage. Has the Fear Beyond Death, but it's not enough. Meanwhile, it's a double encore in the mid lane. Hyrax is going to get flashed on top of. Envy finds a Sonic Wave onto LilMac, but he doesn't want to take it. Camper is still buying time up top side until he is finally taken down. We talk about the summoners all being up. They decide just to throw it and use them aggressively. They will get a lot of gold here in mid. 20 seconds until that soul fight. Hoptech losing his flash up top. Hyrax losing his flash as well. but there's no Encore. There's no Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Envy still has Slash. Envy still has Kick. As they're trying to force their way through, LilMac is found out by the Sonic Wave. The Nether Grasp isn't there in time. Now it's maybe an angle for 4Cap to get back in this one. Another Sonic Wave connects as Envy tries to dip back into the fight before flashing away. Z's Aatrox wants more. Capalot just gonna flash in, takes out the enemy smite, but now he's hooked back. Needs to buy time here. Here comes the bomb over the top as Capalot is gonna use that R to reposition. Looks onto Hoptech, who has the Zonias. Capalot staying alive for so long, and now he's gonna get reinforcements from Camper. It doesn't matter that they took the Ashe out at the start of the fight. Camper is ready to rumble. Unicorn is fleeing, but there's the fear beyond death. Drag him in for a triple. And that may be the death knell here. It is Mountain Soul. They're going to open up a bit of a gold lead here on the side of LilMacAttackers. It looked a bit sketchy when you lose your all-powerful Ashe right at the start. But Capalot playing the fight so well, buying so much time throughout it. Proccing his passive shields, getting heals from Curse. And then allowing for Camper when he arrives to just have a path to victory. And Capalot, like, this is a guy that has been absolutely fantastic. Definitely in the MVP conversation through 6 weeks here. And it's mostly been on, like, carry champions. Like, we know he's a fantastic Viego. He's a fantastic Lee Sin. He's fantastic on Lilia and Gwen. His pocket Cho'Gath. Vi was a champion I was a bit suspicious of, right? Because it's, you know, a bit less of a carry champion, more of a facilitator. But he has been phenomenal. Hook there onto Curse as they're going to look for the angle, but the 3-man Encore means that the Seraphine has time. Here comes Weaver's Wall, though. It's an odd-man fight, and 4Capybara need to try to finish the deal. They get 1-for-1 as the supports go down. LilMac, though, is still free-firing with the Ranger's focus. Takes out one. He's going to take out another head. Camper now slinking forward. Finds the angle onto Hyrax. It is just the Commissioner alive, fleeing for his life as his former top laner looks for an angle with the Corrosive Blast. But even through what looked like a catch onto the 3-item Seraphine, it is 4Capybara looking worse for wear. It is going to be a 4K gold lead. Baron still on the Rift, but this Mountain Soul does so much work in letting Curse get that ult off after getting, you know, a bit caught out of position there on a good dredge line. We just haven't seen the angle we need from this Talia Lee Sin early on, where now that we're into the kind of late game, all of Talia's rocks are going into an Urgot that can kind of shrug them off. When the Lee Sin is just kind of flying in to die to Ashe arrows. It's going to need a good dredge line, a good seismic shove, and, you know, it's certainly not out of the question. We haven't really seen any sort of attempt on this Baron. I think it looks like the side of LMA is pretty content with just holding defensive vision around here, making sure that they clean out any wards and prevent an interesting sneak. We'll see what the play is, whether they want to try to force this Baron in the next 3 minutes before Elder, or just head to Elder with the lead they have now. And as the vision gets reestablished, the angles for 4Capybara just get slimmer and slimmer. There's a lot of good single target burst that they may look for Curse, who took an aggressive path and ends up having to flash the dredge line. Definitely a good summoner, as Curse was poking their head a bit too aggressively there. Burrito Bear has been parked in a side lane up against the Aatrox, just EWing the wave on repeat, as you do. But now he may be in a bit of trouble, so he's going to try to flee. The Weaver's Wall is certainly in range, and it's going to be casted out as they're going to try to make a play. Down here, Burrito's going to flash away. The seismic shove is avoided, but can he really get anywhere far enough? The answer is no. Meanwhile, the start on the Baron is there. Ziggs has expended the ultimate already, but everyone is still pretty healthy. Hook is going to whiff as Unicorn's going to flash into the bit. Caplot wants to finish the Baron, and it's secured by Urgot, as now the Ash Arrow is going to hit 1Hyrax. He's trying to get away, but it's a double kill to LilMac, and now Z has to flash away. They get the play inside, but the Baron trigger got maybe a little sketchy as it goes to the Urgot. Camper is going to get a bit aggressive. Caplot still with the ultimate, trying to duke it out on the side against Hoptech. It's split up right now, but all eyes on the Ash right now. Z is gonna... I mean, he doesn't have World Ender. He doesn't have a chance right now. Hoptech is able to get home, as Envy's going to go and look for the lineup kick. Finds it! The shove onto LilMac isn't quite there, though. He's going to flash away. It was a bit slow. It was a bit clunky, but you can see the vision. They do keep all their inhibitor turrets alive through that first... Okay. Curse, we need to relax. Like, some of these plays we're looking for, we're not Alistar. We're not Nautilus. Like, we're an enchant. Let's relax. Yeah, I mean, Elder's up in 15, and the Baron did not really generate all too much gold, but it did mean that Ash got up to 4 items. It did mean Caplot is packing a GA now, and Urgot, that was first down early in this game, is feeling good up an item on this Aatrox, so a lot of critical breakpoints make this very difficult alongside the Mountain Soul for 4Capybara. They still have Flash, they still have Kick on the Lee Sin. The Hawkshot goes out to try to spot any flanks. It's right now looking like a straight up front to back. Hoptech gonna look for an angle perhaps with the Weaver's Wall. Elder goes on a merry jaunt as they're trying to reestablish vision. Not able to pull the trigger on the Banana Brush. Unicorn is able to back off. It's time for an Elder flip, but Camper is just walking towards the mid wave. Hoptech is going to clear out some minions bot. We'll see if the Vi is going to pick her target onto the Aatrox. No ultis used just yet as Caplot's down very low. Encore only onto one. They're trying to blow up the Vi. Now ult on the side. They target out the Lee Sin. Everything sent at the Blind Monk, and he's got nothing to say. Now it's going to be an easy fight cleanup. Hoptech tries to escape, but he's disdained off the wall. Caplot is going to hunt for 1Hyrax. Gets the shield. Is going to try to lay down the punches. Is going to lose his GA. Caplot will eventually find out the Ziggs. He's going to complete the ace. And that should be game number 1 going the way of the LilMacAttackers. It all started with bot lane domination. And that is exactly how it's going to end. 12-1-13 on LilMac's Ash. 7-2-19 on Curse of Dragon Seraphine. 1-0 LilMacAttackers. For Capybara, gonna need to regroup a bit there. The mid jungle was definitely off to a very nice start in that game, but it didn't quite translate. Talia Lee Sin needs to keep their pedal to the metal. They were not up to the task against Caplot and the rest of the LilMacAttackers. We'll take a short break before seeing if LMA can pack it up and send 4Capybara home in 2. Alrighty, everyone. Some technical difficulties on the production side. My name is Shiv, now joined by Prone to see if the side of LMA can close it out here in game number 2.
It's good to be back. It's good to be back. I've been here for a while, but following MSI and all the international tournaments so far, I've been really expecting to see a lot more mages in the bot lane, but we have two very, very traditional AD carries locked in. So I'm glad to see. I'm glad to see that the boys of DMV are upholding the ADC spirit.
I think whatever it takes to win. And I mean, the Mage Ziggs is 0-1 so far in this series, so maybe it was a ruse all along. It is going to stay traditional ADs here for game number 2. Yunara on one side, Jinx on the other. Definitely some hyper carry potential. But an early Xerath is an interesting one from Burrito Bear.
Yeah, I don't know Burrito Bear that well, but Malzahar in game 1 and Xerath now just seems like they want this player to be stable in the mid lane. The LilMacAttackers very clearly have their strong points cut out for them, that being the side lanes. So this Pantheon, a great pick away from Z, I would say, because we know that guy is a top lane Pantheon player. And Riven being banned out now against, I believe, it's 1Hyrax, right? So... Or is it the fire person? For you to envy, also a Riven player. So I don't know. All these jungle, there's a lot of Talon players in this tournament. So Talon has been banned like half the game so far. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I am kind of just expecting a Jace, because that's what For You to Envy has played very consistently throughout this DMV. Just carry that over from the middle lane in DMV Winter, but we'll see if that's what he wants to do here. I mean, you already have the Jinx. It feels like you want to play a champ that can kind of keep the bot lane afloat, and Jace doesn't really feel that way because he is more focused on farming. And if you don't want the bot lane to get completely sunk like it did in game number 1, may need a jungler with some more ganking and fighting potential, and they'll go with the Wukong there for You to Envy.
Yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far out of both sides. Wukong being the best available pick here. Very comfortable champion for Cap-a-Lot. And on the other side, Ornn being slammed, comfortable blind pick top. No surprise there.
Absolutely. We'll see
what they have.
Where exactly this Pantheon is going. They have played it kind of all over the place so far, but is probably just needing to pick a support here for Curse of Dragons. The Lulu as the kind of default Yunara option is still available alongside a whole host of enchanters.
Yeah, I'm pretty surprised that they left the Lulu open for this phase. They chose to ban the Blitzcrank instead, and Zilean locked in on 5. Zilean is pretty amazing versus 80 bruisers and champions that have low mobility. And there's 2 80 bruisers and 2 champions with no dashes on the side of Capybara. So I like it. I like the cook.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big Zilean mid enjoyer because there you can do more cool tricks with having like actual items and CDR in your kit. But I definitely like the support Zilean as well. You can just deny the first initial Jinx reset with the R. And Bessa's very single target heavy. Is a lot of AoE that comes out of the Victor and the Wukong to maybe try to get something going. And you've also got the fact that leaving up the Lulu means it just goes to the other side as well. As that's going to be what rounds out the composition for Unicorn Potato.
Yeah, I like that. I like that both Xerath and Zilean can be double flexed, so they still could pull out the Zilean mid. But Yunara is pretty standard for Jinx. However, I don't really think that Lulu is really standard for Jinx, but I don't really think that's what the Capybara's comp really wants out of their 5th pick support. You kind of beat the Zilean. I mean, everything that breathes can beat Zilean support in lane. But that's not really what you're looking for too much. A good front to back is not really what you're going for because you have Mbessa and Wukong has a lot of angles to play. It's not like Victor has a big front line for him either. I guess you can combo Cyclone and Wild Growth on an engage, but Pantheon Ornn can eat a lot of the straight up engage. Xerath can just sit from afar and just tap you after they've kited out, and they can just chase you for 10,000 years with Zillion. So there's just not a lot of cohesiveness in the Capybara comp with that Lulu pick.
Yeah, it does feel like it is indexing very much into getting the hyper carry of the Jinx going, even if it does sacrifice the side of the engage where, yeah, they are going to try to come from a lot of angles, right? Because the straight front to back, where you're up against a Zillionaire, the tankiness of the Ornn, the Xerath pelting you over and over, like, you definitely want these flanks from the Mbess and the Wukong to get on top of the Xerath, bypass the Ornn entirely, and try to punish the backline. And we'll see if they'll be able to do that. Any specific way we're leaning here in the draft for game number 2?
I'm a big hater and fan of Zillion simultaneously. I absolutely despise playing against this champion as an immobile ADC. But at the same time, seeing this champion picked from a spectator perspective is very exciting. So I personally am leaning slightly in the favor of the LilMacAttackers. I hope this Zillion works wonders. And I've also seen I've seen some magic come out of this Ornn versus Ambessa lane. Typically, Ambessa just kind of beats the hell out of tanks once you get that Eclipse and level 6 passive armor shred. But some magic can happen there.
Don't
So yeah,
doubt
slightly leaning towards
Shaman,
that.
Warlock, Assassin, Fighter, Ornn. Can always scrap together a kill
Exactly.
in all
Exactly.
these lanes. But yeah, I mean, I'm a bit curious about the Xerath, where if he doesn't have his flash, it can be a bit difficult to play when there's so much threat that he has to deal with the Mbess and the Wukong. But like you, I'm a big Zillion enjoyer. You know, when I started watching Pro League, that was when Bjergsen and Jensen were playing a ton of Zillion. So I'm very excited for this champion. Again, not mid, so you don't have actually ability haste to do like triple bombs or anything. But definitely, like you said, if you can get through the early lane where you are very useless with one damaging ability, the champion can definitely be super useful with all the speeds, the res, and the zone control of the bombs. We will give it a second to get into game here to see if the Zillion Xerath are what lets LilMacAttackers close this one out 2-0, or if 4Capybara 1Hyrax can punch back and force us to a game number 3. Game number 2 is underway here between the LilMacAttackers and 4Capybara 1Hyrax, who are trying to not get sent packing in a 2-0 here. I'm joined by Prone to see if the 4 Scrappy Cappies can get us to a game number 3.
Shouldn't be too much funny business here. Both junglers pathing bot. Ornn just gonna sit up in the top lane. Top tech gonna get poked out a little bit. And it's on LilMacAttack and Curse of Dragons to survive this 2v2. Jinx is one of the original good matchup, good individual matchups. If you're just looking at ADCs for the Yunara.
Yeah, and certainly having the Zillion means that there is not going to be much threat here in these early levels. Unless you hit the one ability, in which case you get to do a little bit. We are going to see both junglers this time start on the same side of the map, both pathing towards this bottom lane. That was very pivotal in game number 1. Curse and LilMac got off to a very good start with some solo kills in there, and the pressure just never relented. So we'll see if Envy can have more say in that early bot lane and prevent that advantage from coming through again.
Yeah, you talked about earlier how Burrito Bear, the Xerath, not having flash will be quite threatening, but we forget that one of the best punishers of no flash is the Grand Skyfall. Oh, the bomb lands.
They're going to get the double as Hyrax actually getting a bit low, but they're trading well. Both ADs quite low as Curse is going to continue to pepper away at autos. Doesn't find the bomb. They're going to flash forward, and the weak lane is trying to get the kill. But the barrier and flash will get Hyrax out to safety. As now some scrapping in the bot lane. Searing charge hits, but Conquerors their Z's not under the tower, and that means he can wrap up first blood.
Thinking that Bluetooth auto. But yeah, one of the only ways. Oh my gosh.
Envy is now looking to affect this bot lane. Gets the clone strike to take out LilMac. Wasn't expecting it. Didn't pop the barrier. Nice little pickup for the Wukong.
Great start to the early game for 4Capybara. This is exactly what we need to get to game 3. Both side lanes popping off the solo kill in the top lane without having to burn flash, and then picking up both flashes and the kill on bot side. Foyer to Envy just super proactive with that gank there, skipping 2 camps to hit him before they can even ward. Great start to the game.
Yeah, and he was able to clean up the bot crab, but Caplot has the level advantage here and the smite. So he is able to take away the blue. And is actually just going to call it there and cross for the top crab.
Yeah, can't get your cookies and eat them too, or whatever the saying is. So, Foyer to Envy does have to pay 1 camp as tax. But I mean, if you're 4Capybaras, you're very happy with the situation. Just having to give up blue buff for total map domination.
Yeah, they're definitely feeling good so far. There won't be any overstays for enemy Krugs this time that lead to World of War 3 over the Raptors, so just some shallow vision for Caplot before he takes his base.
Yeah, and LilMac and Curse of Dragons had such a good thing going before Foyer to Envy hit them hard. They could still go here, but that early gank really bailed out the side of the other side. I don't what the heck is that username, but
It's Hyrax for all intents and purposes. It's just Hyrax.
The username keeps changing.
We can only control so much. The names are 50 characters. The team names are 50 characters long. Like, we need to start putting in some rules and regulations. But
Yeah,
meanwhile, Burrito
slow.
Bear would like some rules and regulations to help him in the mid lane, as he is down a good chunk of CS thus far. Both mid laners expending those early teleports, but Burrito Bear without mana, without health, is going to perhaps take another base sooner rather than later.
Keep your eyes on this bottom lane still. I feel like Void Envy is going to play hard for the 6 and just come straight back, but if Capalot and the side of LilMacAttack and Curse of Dragons are tracking 1Hyrax's flash, then this Grand Skyfall can just punish super hard. You press E on Zillion, and then Skyfall immediately
Yeah,
on
public
him.
execution in the top lane as Z has the ulti advantage up here, and another auto to lay down the law for his second solo. Both junglers, like you said, down toward this bot side, but because of that blue buff steal, Capalot doesn't even need the third crab to get to level 6. They're going to hit the stun. Capalot is still restrained. Now going to look for the flash, stun into the Aegis Assault, and locks up the kill. Actually, going to Curse of Dragon.
Perfectly calculated. Great flash from Capalot to jump on the occasion. They knew that the Jinx had no flash. They tracked it well, and they pulled the play right off of that Zillion E. That Zillion E, like I said on these immobile ADCs, is the most annoying ability in Mankind. It's literally a point-and-click stun, basically.
Envy will at least be able to get this top crab. I don't believe it would even give him level 6. But he is going to get some reinforcements as an immediate TP from Z. But actually, the play is going to come down with the Ornhorn. They don't find the knockup. Capalot, though, still wants to fight. Good damage onto the Embesso, who TP's in. Already down to half HP. That knockup not there from Camper, but they're going to get the Wukong off of the top crab. Meanwhile, Hoptech able to evade some bombs and some lasers. But yeah, top crab going to be going to Capalot.
Yeah, this jungle situation is the only thing that could be a little bit scary. I'm not too worried about a Pantheon really taking over the game against Embesso, Wukong, Lulu. However, if it gets a little bit out of control, this Grand Skyfall can still punish lanes. These river skirmishes can still be very devastating. Pantheon early game is just an absolute nightmare. If first to that Sundered Sky. Capalot using his lead well and trying to keep himself as strong as possible.
Yeah, it's also Capalot, right? Someone who we've seen perform as. Actually, we're going to have an all-in on the bot side with the Yunara ult pop, but they're not able to find the double bomb. Because now Curse is going to have to shake off some of this damage. LilMac trying to get some last autos down before the ult expires. But yeah, I mean, it's also just Capalot here with this early lead, right? We have seen this guy be so good throughout DMV. It has typically been on farm first, carry later champions. It has not been on super proactive champs like the Pantheon. So excited to see how he's gonna pilot it here. Has a good farm lead as he usually does, but also has access to the playmaking of the Grand Skyfall, as that double bomb has to get immediately flashed away from, and opens up an opportunity for the Pantheon.
Yep. On top of that Zillion slow, there's also the Slurkle. So it's really rough to play Jinx once you get hit by anything.
Yeah, meanwhile, the double bomb there evaded by Unicorn to be able to clear out the ward. But, I mean, the Grand Skyfall will not care about wards. I will say that Curse and LilMac have kind of continuously had push as another double bomb comes through. Wild Growth is available if they need it.
That's a great ward in that second bush. On that bot side, we can see the junglers are stacking up again on this bottom lane, and I think they're aware that Capalot is there, even when he tried to dodge the ward.
Meanwhile, it is still Hoptech with the advantages in mid. He's going to get another good chunk onto Burrito Bear here, but without a stun, does mean it's just going to be a lot of chip damage into Burrito. They're going to actually call down the Grand Skyfall and get the flash out from the Victor. Envy's going to try to keep up the fight. And so first Grand Skyfall used to just bail out the mid lane.
Yep, now they got to keep tabs on this Victor flash. We got to punish the Victor while he's not able to contest, and that's going to be -1 cannons. So Hoptech still using his old man Victor powers to take the advantage in this relatively unfavorable matchup. So two of the lanes that I expected to go one way were actually reversed. Means that the top side is quite powerful for the side of 4Capybara. Meanwhile, Jinx needs a lot more time to scale. It's not too bad. I would rather personally have the solo lanes ahead rather than the Jinx ahead early game. Having to deal with the Xerath and then the Ornn later on top, there's just so much for you to dodge.
LilMacAttackers definitely hoping that is the story here. Because, I mean, it's a very similar tale to game number 1, where Z had early advantages on the Aatrox, but the bot lane was getting caved in. But the gold was at least even through all that. This time it is a slight gold lead with the soul lane advantages for Capybara 1Hyrax, as Hyrax able to sidestep some bombs and actually stand his ground for a bit before LilMac re-engages with that dash forward. But they've got Victor maybe cheating his way on down there. He's going to be spotted out by the Pantheon.
I love how aggressive LilMac is with that ulti, just using it to take trades. He won't have the ulti up for this dragon, but you can see that this Zilean Yunara lane is gaining priority over Jinx Lulu. No ulti up, but having the position on the map early, I feel like is equal or greater value.
With that bot lane advantage, they are going to be first to this objective. And unlikely to be a contest. I mean, Victor without flash is going to be under a good bit of duress if he's face checking into this, so they're going to give up that first dragon here at 11 minutes.
Not the earliest start to the drag stacking, but stacking nonetheless. And there's a 2-level gap in this top lane, so we're going to need some lane swap shenanigans before this top lane situation spirals out of control. We can see 30, 40 CS leads building up on the sides of the solo laners from 4Capybara. Meanwhile, this Yunara is getting quite strong herself too. So, really, all the eggs in the basket were originally always in this Yunara, with this Ornn Xerath being locked in. Just the super long-range tank combo and the kiting out of Zilean. It's a very clear condition that they need to play for.
Yeah, they definitely have that late game to fall back on if they can keep themselves in striking distance and not let Zambessa run amok, as he's done thus far with that big lead in top lane. Has the wave in a pretty good spot. We see the Pantheon now trying to maybe get in range of a mid lane play, as the flash is forced out by the Cyclone. LilMac continuing to play on the front foot. There's the double bomb stun that they were looking for. Gets the Wild Growth. Hyrax trying to fire back with the Fishbones rockets. Good pressure from the side of LilMac, but they're not going to cash in on many plates, not going to cash in on any sums until another slow, another double bomb, and that is Hyrax getting too greedy for the wave, and he gets taken out.
Zilean is it's chef's kiss. Great pick. They really skill checked them early game. Got a little bit unlucky with that gank, you know. The jungler's not full clearing and being a little smart, unexpected these days. But nonetheless, showing complete mastery and dominance in the lane that is otherwise normally favoring the Jinx Lulu, right? So that's going to be a huge bailout for this bot lane. And now that LilMac is just off to the races, he didn't get the kills, unfortunately, but setting this Jinx further behind, I think, is much more important. And LilMac has the Kraken done, has the Gluttonous Greaves locked in. He's kind of off to the races.
We are going to see Caplot poke his head around, and Hoptech is going to try to fire back here with the Chaos Storm after they couldn't quite get the initial plan to Hoptech. So it's going to be a battle over this crab. Caplot does still have a good farm and level lead, but with the extra help of the mid and supports, it is going to be Envy locking that one down. Triforce also complete on the Wukong. Feels like a time where he becomes very comfortable in this matchup, and will definitely look to try to create some plays, especially with that Xerath not having his flash.
Yeah, we haven't really been able to... re-attack the flashless Victor, so now Victor has flash up now, and Hoptech can once again play it aggressively and not have to worry about this Grand Skyfall. And Grand Skyfall was just used, actually. The spectator didn't quite catch it, but Grand Skyfall used in mid lane.
Yeah. Maybe not the two first Skyfalls we were looking for. It's still been a fine early game for the side of LilMacAttackers. But yeah, maybe not quite the efficiency they're looking for. Still, it is same story, right? This bot lane is getting ahead. LilMac and Curse are going to lay waste to some of these plates. And now that there is no Grand Skyfall to worry about, is there any lane that you'd like to see this Wukong attack?
Well, very clearly it's going to be this spot lane. We need to shut down the Yunara. Their only win con left. But Yunara, the other thing about this comp is even if you dive in and you get all your angles on top of them, you have to worry about that chrono shift.
Turning in bot as here comes the TP from Hoptech. LilMac has another dash to get some space. The double bombs are going to miss. So will the Death Rocket. So, LilMac able to burn his flash and stay alive. And now Hoptech face checks into the lasers of Burrito Bear, but he gets to wild growth. He's able to flash out. Capalot's now hot on his tail. Everyone with blinking low health bars. Burrito Bear actually doesn't get the chrono shift. The tick comes through right as it expires, but they're able to kill off Hoptech on the backside 1-for-1 through all of that.
I didn't even see what happened. I thought Burrito Bear did get the chrono shift, but was it just too late? Was it too early?
Early. The tick came in right as the hourglasses vanish, and now Unicorn might be vanishing as well. Double bomb with the Pantheon stun to set it up, and the spear to knock it down. And now 1Hyrax is stranded without his flash, without his trusty Yordle companion. Double kill easily picked up by Capalot, and we're now off to the races for this bot lane once again.
Yeah, I'm confused where 4Envy has been this whole play. We knew that the action was all going to be bot side, and it was the entire, I guess, comp was around this Yunara, so we needed to shut her down. She was getting ahead in lane, but that entire play, nothing materialized out of the jungle. So Capalot just feasts on the enemy bot laner, and that's 3 kills down there.
Yeah, we'll see if Envy is able to make something happen up towards his winning lane here in the top side. Dragon secured in bot, as the Ornn is going to be under fire. Camper has the ult, has the flash, but he's not going to have his tower for much longer. He's going to find the double knock, but that searing charge is only going to lead to his demise. Capalot does get up here with the Grand Starfall, but a nice public execution keeps Pantheon off of the monkey. But in this duel, it's Capalot looking for some spells and a stab of the spear to execute the Ambessa.
Now, this Pantheon is still very strong, and that's a Merc Treads on Z, so he wasn't tanky enough to really withstand the Empowered Comet Spear. On the other side, I didn't even see what happened, but 1Hyrax dropped again. Good snipes by Burrito Bear, so they found a kill in the mid lane, but this Jinx is just so far behind now.
Yeah, I mean, 1Hyrax and LilMac, they both got their names on the sides of the bus with these team names. One of the names has been spray painted over with graffiti at this point. It is not looking good between these two bot lanes. Wasn't great in game 1, and game 2 continues to be more of the same. 2 items already complete on this Yunara. Burrito Bear hanging in the side lanes, but Hoptech able to force a flash on that gravity well.
Yeah, they're getting something done in these sides. Hoptech is still very strong individually. Does have the Blackfire done, does have the tier 3 boots done. Probably very far along to his second item, so... The Wukong Victor and Ambessa are still very big threats, but it's going to take a long time before this Jinx can come online, but now, quite Envy.
A Curse face checks, but, I mean, Capalot now has the move speed to look for the play onto the Victor. Gonna go in, get some good damage off. They don't find the stun, and now the Chrono Shift is gonna get triggered this time onto the Xerath. They have TP coming in from the Ambessa, which means I don't think this Xerath is long for this world. Z is gonna look for the public execution. Nice sidestep from Curse. And so it is 1-for-1. That double bomb not connecting, as Z is going to try to continue to force the issue here. Capalot actually going on forward, has the Aegis Assault before the poly. That double bomb does connect, but I mean, there's no real damage to speak of here. They are going to just defend the tower.
A lot of dicey things happening, both mid laners falling, but you can start to see the value of this Chrono Shift. Even if you can get the dive on the enemy team, if you're going to expend Public Execution, Cyclone, Super Mega Death Rocket all for one person, that ulti will just bait you straight in. And now Z might be caught out as well.
Oh, all that move speed. Capalot's in position already. A lot of dashes from the Ambessa, as now Right of the Arcane is going to rain on down. Another bit of speed as Capalot is able to land the stun. And Z is going to try to use all those dashes to good effect, but it is domination from the jungle position. Meanwhile, in mid, it is Envy looking for a possible angle on the Yunara, but the Ornn is there to cover.
It's not just jungle domination, it's also support domination. The Zillion is just running everyone around the map, constantly picking off side lanes. It's like a miniature Nocturne.
Oh no, the same tail in the mid lane, but actually the Wild Growth is buying time. LilMac needs some help from the Chrono Shift as he's now out of position. A nice double bomb, but now here comes the res and everyone's ready to fire back. It's a big shutdown as Hoptech has sealed off the retreat. 2 kills to the Wukong. Capilot is now stranded on his own, is able to find the kill on Hoptech, and now Xerath is in position to fire the laser. It looked sketchy for a minute, but then the reinforcements arrive and it's a winning play for LMA.
Yeah, Grand Skyfall wasn't even used. Capilot is just cutting everyone down. Level 14 Pantheon, 2 items completed, plus a BF sword on top.
Looking for a hero play. The public execution doesn't connect, and now he's going to take a lot of punishment on his way out. But Capilot actually tanking a ton of tower damage. A nice shutdown for the Mbessa as she trades 1 for 1.
Hey, Z says worth there every day of the week. That's 1K. That's 1K straight in your pockets. That's pretty huge. This Mbessa needs to be a threat in these coming fights. So that's a full Black Cleaver done, and now items towards the Death Stance completed. Meanwhile, Pantheon finishing the GA, and look at that speed.
No. LilMac is just trying to run through their faces here. They have Rite of the Arcane over the top, but not able to execute anyone this time. Didn't have the Yunara ult, but you can see just the aggression of piling in there with the zillion speed. They are without their Pantheon, so it is a bit sketchy to try to face check for this dragon. They are calling back their Ornn. Try to contest perhaps over this. Grand Skyfall could be in range for the Baron. Dragon is getting shredded down. And that should be an easy secure from Envy, and it is. Skyfall is going to bring Pantheon into the action, but now he needs his team to back him up. They want to fight, and here comes the Ornhorn as they're all grouped up in the choke. Big knockups from the big ram. Capilot is going to get the revive on the front side. LilMac is trying to fire off with the ulti on the back. Envy flashing out to safety as 4Capybara still on the run. Flash in from Capilot. He has no restraint, and why should he? He's got 3 lives to play with. Hoptech is on the run, but a snipe from Burrito Bear does him in.
Ooh.
A double bomb off the minions means LilMac is on a killing spree. They don't get the dragon, but they completely wipe the fight for LilMacAttackers.
Absolute montage play from Capilot and Curse of Dragons. These two have been connected all game long, and it's showing. They're just playing off each other, playing off the extra lives that Guardian Angel and the Chrono Shift provided. So this Pantheon just tanked the entire engage and kept running straight forward. There was nothing that Capybaras could do about it, and now that should be Baron going over, unless 4H Envy has anything to say about it.
Envy's in the area. Cyclone is up and available. Super Mega Death Rocket doesn't find any splash damage, but look at the slows. Envy's trying to make his way forward. He's in the pit, but the Baron is not low enough. The monkey's taken down. Baron soon to be buried alongside him, as 5 members will be wearing purple for LMA.
Yeah, absolutely stellar execution. The play is going to continue. Another teleport from Z. They just want to keep looking for this. He has perfect execution available.
Yeah, he is going to line it up onto Capilot. Campers there to maybe provide some peel, but they're all worse for wear as the Mbessa is looking for these kills, but they can't find onto anyone. Now the Ornhorn finding a double knockup into the double bomb, and it will be the right of the Arcane to end the bot lane. Hoptech, the only one standing. And that Death Laser is not gonna make a 1 fight. 4 for 0 to the side of LilMacAttackers.
The LilMacAttackers, they just got the whole buffet and ate it straight in front of the 4Capybaras' faces. Tanking all the damage straight up, reviving twice, killing them, running straight to Baron, getting Baron still on 25%. HP on like 3 players, running back to turret and still getting the response from that Ornhorn and then Rite of Arcane combo into the double bomb. There's just so much zone control, and it's so impossible to play the game as this Jinx when you're behind.
Yeah, the Jinx has not been able to find any sort of resets, any way to get going in this game, and now things are looking slim. 4Capybaras with their tournament lives not looking in great shape. Down 8k gold here. Need to figure out some kind of counterplay, but their towers are being raised up top side. The Xerath is able to fire out these Qs with impunity and just chunk out anyone that tries to step up to these waves.
Yeah, this is really where you see the weakness of this bot lane not being strong coming into play. This Lulu not providing much value to the team anymore. And this Jinx, without a reset, is just a sitting duck for skill shots every single time she's on the enemy team's screen. And it's really up to these top side champions, the Ambessa, Wukong, Victor, to make magic happen. But when this Ornn has scaled now, he got beat up early game. He had a rough lane. He was 2 levels down, but now he's just happily standing in front of them with armor and HP items.
Yeah, he's going to go through his entire kit with the brittle procs and Capalot there to seal the deal. 50 seconds off of Baron, or excuse me, off of Infernal Dragon. I think that is all but given to the side of LMA.
LMA taking their times with this, taking their victory laps around. They will take another tier 2 turret, rotate straight to the dragon right afterwards. Comfortably, we'll be sitting at 10k gold lead after this.
Yeah, Right of the Arcane going to be firing off yet again, and 1Hyrax just doesn't get to play. Flash, Wild Growth expended, but there's no Baron to continue the push, so Coptech should be able to clear this out, despite there being 5 members down bot. Yeah, I mean, this has been a much more surgical and dominating game number 1 here for the side of LMA. And I mean, throughout the season, we've seen Capalot just put up montage plays on the Viego, on the Gwen. But here in quarterfinals, it has been LilMac stepping up. It has been Curse stepping up. And then Camp Run Duty and Burrito Bear just holding firm in those solo lanes until they can scale, until they can be super relevant and help out the team. That is going to be Soul Point now over to the side of LMA.
Yeah, and it's not like Capalot isn't putting up those plays either, too. He's basically main character of the movie. He has a infinity lives, so infinite plot armor. He'll never die. When he gets to 1 HP, he pulls some Talk No Jutsu and revives. And he was the one to absolutely dumpster this early game, and now they will look to close out here. No Baron will make it quite hard to siege.
Yeah, they're going to TP in as Burrito Bear needs to flash away from a zap as they bring in the Ambessa from the side lanes, but doesn't look like there's much play to be had. First maybe sticks around a bit too forward here, but has the ability of the Shirelias of the Chrono Shift to just be safe wherever they go.
Yeah, there were flank wars in that line bush in the bottom side river, but if you just TP right in front of their faces, that Zillion will just press E and then W and then E, and everyone will be able to get out scot-free. It's impossible to really engage face up against them without flashes now. And even if you do so, you're not going to be able to pin one person down and get value out of the dive. So their only flank angle on that TP kind of wasted there.
Yeah, they are going to move into this topside river, see if they can get any face checkers, but the Pantheon and Ornn are just looking to start the fight off themselves. Horn is going to be flashed away from, but Hoptech needs to get out of here. There's the bombs, not quite able to find the CC, but Camper is just a brick wall, walking wherever he wants. They find Z off to the side. It's Capalot on a killing spree. The Ornn is down so low, flashing out to safety, but it's LilMac looking to just go aggressive. It's going to be 3 dead bodies for 4Capybara. And the commissioner is going to watch his dynasty crumble as LilMac lands the knockout punch to send them to semifinals.
Flawless execution from the side of LilMac. Had a little bit of a dicey early game. Oh.
Yeah, there's nothing doing for Envy's Wukong. That's going to be the 5th member buried. And now the victory march for LilMacAttackers.
DMV enjoyers, time to celebrate. Welcome to parity in the league. We will have a new mid lane champion at the very least.
Z is trying to make some kind of miracle happen on the back line, but LilMac has his entire HP bar to play with. It is going to be a 2-0 victory for LMA and an elimination of 4Capybara, 1Hyrax?
Yeah, I mean, uh, I'm just very very impressed with what I saw out of LilMacAttackers. I knew that they were strong. I didn't know exactly how strong that they were. Um, but I'm just very very impressed. Their bot lane is so cohesive. Capalot is Capalot, and their top lane and mid know how to hold it down. They know how to hold the fort down and let the players shine and really work as a team. Even when the early game was a little dicey, they knew where their win conditions lied and just a flawless game plan and a flawless execution from them.
There were definitely great moments from 4Capybara, 1Hyrax throughout this split. We will lose some hate watchers, but we will salute their efforts here from Z, For You to Envy, Hop Tech, Hyrax, and Unicorn Potato, as their DMV run will end here. We will see if anyone from the side of LMA is able to join us here on the desk. There we go. Welcome in,
Hey,
Mr. Mac.
Oh, I didn't know I was getting draft pulled. What's up, guys? How you guys?
hello, hello, hello. Welcome. Congratulations on the quarterfinals win and knocking out the commissioner. Everyone's gonna be buzzing about that one.
Well, thank the Lord, dude. I was so happy to hear we were going against Hop Tech this week.
I mean, let's start there
Everyone
because you
wanted the
got your
honor.
pick of who you wanted to play, and you guys chose 4Capybara, 1Hyrax as your opponent.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. I don't really get a say in this team, despite having the name plate. My jungler, Capalot, just really wanted to go against Hop Tech, like badly. Kind of a fixation, really. The other choice wasn't even. It didn't matter who it was. It was actually just gonna be Hop Tech or nothing.
It's okay. Pay that man whatever he wants. Well, what's
It was.
what's the team dynamic like going into these games? Like, did you guys have a game plan specifically for them, or how was it?
Um, I think that going into this playoff, we for starters weren't really like we didn't think we were gonna play this early. I thought we were playing next week, so like a lot of us weren't the most prepared. But I'll say that it was just more so about banning out Hoptech. It's just he's a good facilitator to just help so many people around him. And in order for him to not do that, we had to ban out all of his really good champions like the Galio, the Azir, just like these monumental game changers, which we know Hoptech's really good at. Well,
Yeah, sounds
also
like
oh,
very
sorry.
solid. Yeah, yeah. Continue.
Oh no, I was gonna say while focusing on kind of like winning for our top laner, because as you guys know, we are playing with Camper on duty now. I can't win. Our captain is injured, and so we're really just trying to put all of ourselves on the Rift to win, just for him at this point.
That's a great spirit. Doing it for the man in the top lane. Huge respect for that one. Huge respect. Well, I mean, the question I ask every team is, after you win, if you've been watching the competition or anything at all, like, do you have any other teams that you specifically want to play or that you want to avoid, or who else are you watching out for?
Not gonna lie, I've been waiting. I've been waiting for the day that I can avoid half these teams because, as you guys know, there are two Goliath bot lanes sitting in the upper bracket of this tournament, this playoff run. I want to avoid them if I can, but if I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I'm really looking forward to one team in specific, just because I'm really close with their support, and it's Fortnite. There's something about that team. I love all those guys. They all seem really cool, but that chain user guy, that's my best friend, and let's just say him and I have been talking shit to each other.
I mean, if Fortnite takes care of business in their quarterfinals, that will be the matchup you get in the bracket. So we'll see
I'm hoping.
if we get
I'm hoping for it.
the Lil Mac versus Chain User duel down there in the
Yeah, I'm
bottom side.
excited for that. No
I'll
bias at all, but I am excited if that were to happen. Yeah, it's gonna be
If
a
that
good
were to
match
happen.
no matter what. Either way.
I'm gonna be happy with whoever we go against next. Honestly, looking at all the teams that are left, like I've played through against some of them. Big Hands, for instance. Vicarious is a monster. I played Only Briars. That guy Kyle in the top lane, also a monster. There's just so many players left that are so talented at just like controlling their team or like guiding them that I'm just. It doesn't matter who I go against in this playoff run. At the end of the day, like they're all gonna be fun for me.
Yeah, for sure. I had one more question. So you said that there's a Goliath bot lanes that are like waiting for you, but you yourself I've casted a couple games and you yourself have had a pretty stellar tournament. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like really know who you were before. But what about this team and what about this tournament so far has allowed you to shine so far?
Honestly, it's a big shout out to David, Curse of Dragons, Capalot, our jungler, even like Burrito Bear. Like these guys, I'm not gonna lie, coming into this, I played last season and it just wasn't a good time for me. But this team right now, they really try to keep pushing me. They just keep telling me to just try my best, even when I'm like down 30 CS or up 30 CS. It doesn't matter. These guys are always rooting for me to win. It doesn't matter like win or loss. Even when I like screw up and I lose or I die, get solo killed, they're still like picking me up off the floor, and I appreciate that.
That sounds great. Anything else, Shiv?
No, nothing from me. It does look like our other quarterfinal match wrapped up between Scoopy and Kitty Litter and Dr. Patient's home. I cannot tell who won, but it does look like it's a 2-0, given that they have wrapped up. We'll see if okay. It is gonna be a 2-0 for Scooping the Kitty Litter. Moving on in the semifinals. So that will be it for Dr. Patient, TT, PackU, Soy Blake, and I'm Choi for this DMV. Yeah, nothing else from us as we're just about done here. We'll see if you guys on the LilMacAttackers can keep it going for your fallen top laner. And I look forward to
Thank you
seeing
so
you guys
much.
down the road.
You guys have a great day. Thank you.
You too. Congrats again.
Peace.